Welcome back to the floor here in Seattle at the North American Regionals. I'm MonteCristo, and joining me is the COO of CLG, as I've referred to him before, the king of acronyms, Robert Del Papa. So we're going to talk a little bit about CLG. They've been outfitting their gaming house recently, as he's been telling me. So what is the process for outfitting this house? Where is it? What kind of house is it? Like, describe the house and also describe what it is you're filling it with.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not going to give the exact location because, I don't want any fans like, TSM fans coming or anything. But yeah, it's in Burbank, actually. So it's pretty close to LA. It's near Riot, but it's a safe distance. It's kind of a quiet neighborhood. The house itself is huge. It can support up to 15 people, which will be fantastic. Right now, we're just renting furniture because we kind of want to see how it's going to go in the short term before we commit to how many teams will live there and all of that. But tentatively, we are planning to have CLG NA and CLG EU living in the house together all the way up to the grand finals.
So are there any particular features of this house that are remarkable? Do you have a huge pool? Is there a sauna? Is there anything like really cool in the house?
There's nothing specific. I mean, it's just is huge, and it's a little bit like secluded from the other homes. So, if anything was loud or crazy, it's probably okay. There is like a big in the foyer, in the opening room, there's a giant area where we could probably set up 10, 15, 20 machines very easily. So that's kind of one of the key points about it.
Sounds great. So you were saying that CLG EU and CLG will be there as part of their lead up into the Season 2 World Finals. If, of course, CLG Prime actually makes it there, they still have to go through this weekend. But CLG EU already punched their ticket for the World Finals. So what's your kind of practice plan, and when will those guys be all coming over to train up in that house?
Absolutely. So for CLG NA Prime, basically, they plan to, right after this event, move into the house. Win, lose, or draw, that's going to happen. So that's where they live now. That's their home. It's their flights are back to Burbank, and a couple of them gave up their apartments before they even left for Korea. So that's it. As far as CLG EU is concerned, they're still in OGN. They have the finals. Once the finals is over, we plan to fly them out and move them in together. So right now, Monday, NA will be in the house starting Monday. EU is still going to be a couple of weeks, and then we're good to go.
Do you guys have a distinct training regimen or anything set up yet for the teams? Are you still working on that, or are you going to let the players kind of decide for themselves how exactly what they want to train?
Well, with Hotshot, with Hotshot in charge of it, it's going to be a lot more player-driven. We do have also our PR director who's going to live in the house, who's going to serve as, to some degree, kind of a coach organizer. So he'll be the one kind of keeping them regulated a lot. But, it's going to be still a lot what the players can do, how their schedules are, but we do plan to train pretty hard and have a good schedule for them.
Sounds great. So CLG is playing tomorrow, and they're starting off against Legion. What do you think that, a lot of fans haven't seen CLG Prime play in a while because they've been training in the dark since they kind of got eliminated from OGN. I imagine they've been training a lot with CLG EU. Do you know how they've been preparing for this event and how they feel coming into it?
Yeah, no, it's actually been kind of a bumpy road, to be honest. They've been training really hard in Korea. They learned a lot of new tricks from Korean teams. They got to scrim, all the time. Honestly, near the end, they started to burn out a little bit. But their most recent performance against EU and the Korean teams has been mostly stellar, mostly really good in the last week. So that's boosted their confidence. I think that with Legion coming up, they're not too concerned. I mean, it would be an upset if we would lose to Legion. That would be pretty disappointing. So I think they should be able to do that. If we move on, Dignitas will be a little bit, more difficult, assuming they make it through. But they've definitely been training. They definitely have all of their strategies done, their picks and bans done, all of the possible compositions done. So they're as ready as they're going to be, and they just have to prove it.
So if there's one team that CLG wants to kind of hit in this tournament, is it going to be TSM? Are they kind of out for blood and vengeance? TSM's been kind of taking the last few wins in tournaments that they've played against each other, even though CLG has frequently fought really hard from the losers bracket and taken, the first best of three like we saw at the MLG Spring Championship, excuse me. So is that kind of who they want to face to prove themselves?
Absolutely. It's one of those things where TSM's gotten a lot of the credit. We've actually gone even with them in games at the last 3 major tournaments. So, but they're the ones who've won, so they're in the spotlight. This is Hotshot's words, not mine, but he says TSM's more afraid of us than we are of them. So I'm hoping he's accurate with that and that we'll take them out.
So One other thing I wanted to talk about was the lineup changes that we had a little bit ago, and bringing Voyboy into the team and moving Hotshot into the jungle. How confident are they? They've had a lot of time to gel right now. Are they feeling kind of more stable than they did previously? The last time we saw them as kind of North American fans at a big tournament was in Anaheim, and that was quite a long time ago. And they managed to win that tournament even though they had just made that switch. So do you think that Voyboy and Hotshot and the rest of the team are more used to their roles now? Do they feel really strong coming into this event?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at ML, in Anaheim, we got second. We didn't have Voyboy there. We had, X-Hazard. Voyboy is a phenomenal top lane. I mean, he can really do it. It's taken a while. In the beginning, he really struggled, and it's always kind of that friction when you're trying to gel with the new team. I'd say it wasn't until very recently they've kind of hit their stride on that. So as long as there's no bumps in the road, nothing terribly unexpected, I think they have basically, it's like they studied at the very last minute, and I think they made it just in time for the test. So
CLG Prime, when we saw them in OGN, was pulling out some really inventive and creative kind of meta-breaking strategies. We saw that Hotshot playing the Nunu with Promote and with Caitlyn in mid lane. Are there other strategies that they've been developing in secret? I know you're not going to say what they are, but do you know if they've been trying out some other wacky stuff that fans might get to see in this event?
They have a few things, yes, but CLG EU has even, as of today, told me, don't cheese, you guys are good, just play standard and you'll do well. So I actually sincerely don't know if they're going to pull one of those or they're just going to play standard for most games, so we'll have to see.
Very interesting. All right, well, I'm MonteCristo with ggChronicle. With me has been Robert Del Papa, the COO of CLG. Thank you very much, and you can check out more interviews at youtube.com/ggChronicle. Thanks, guys.